You know, back when I listened to Radix Journal, before I stopped listening to it just because it was too anti-Christian, they had an interesting segment on Gungam Style and Abraham Lincoln called Abraham Lincoln Gungam Style, which probably would have been better movie than the Lincoln movie they did produce, which was epically boring and mediocre. But they were talking about Gungam Style, and they referred to it as a culture and a society that had nothing more to say and had no other form of self-expression, and so it was just started to digest itself because it didn't really it just didn't have anything else. So it just started to cannibalize itself in a desperate attempt to entertain people. And to me, that's always what the character of Deadpool is. He's kind of this like desperate attempt to breathe life into a dying industry. The comic industry has been dying, and thank God it's been dying. You may go, well, Argent, you're really nerdy. So what about comics? The only comics I ever read were some of the Teen Titan ones, just because I'm a big fan of the TV show. If I haven't said before, but I don't like them. I just find them kind of boring. They're always really short. They always reboot things. No one's relationships last. Um, just they constantly. There's no real ability to get any kind of rapport with anyone. It just is constantly being rebooted. It keeps switching authors, etc. If people get married, they have to get broken up again. Nothing can ever end. I really dislike comics in general. Comic movies are a bit different, but comics I don't like. Manga I do like because it's a self-contained series that has a beginning and an end, and they don't reset the fucking plot line every 3 issues. That being said, Deadpool. Uh, I've known about Deadpool for a while. A lot of the people I knew back in university were obsessed with Deadpool. I never really got it. It just seemed like the most fucking desperate attempt to be funny I've ever seen. It always kind of made me cringe. It's like, okay, let's create kind of this nihilistic anti-hero who just makes pop culture references and breaks the fourth wall. Oh wow, what a great character. And that was just kind of the shtick of it. I was just never really interested in it. He just kind of always seemed like an asshole to me. I didn't find the sense of humor particularly clever or funny. It just seemed like something that nerds liked because they thought it was deep. Because it was like it's self-reflexive, man. Deadpool's the deepest of deep comic book characters, or something to that effect. I don't know. I don't know. I just always found it very cringeworthy. Maybe just because of the fan base. There's a lot of things I don't even really dislike. It's just the fan base or shit. Um, I actually kind of like the Twilight books, and I've been pretty adamant about that. I've never really denied that. The fan base is absolutely, like, just fucking terrible. But, anyways, Deadpool the movie. What did I think of it? It wasn't bad. Deadpool was, I don't know. It wasn't a bad movie by any, means. I guess I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It just felt really cheap. Um, I know the actual budget wasn't that low, but it felt like I don't know the production values just weren't very good in my view. A lot of the sets just seemed like something that they had found in the back lot. They're like, let's shoot the movie there. There just wasn't that many locations in the movie. It really felt like they shot the entire thing on like a sound stage over the weekend. I know it's very hard to describe that kind of movie. It reminded me a lot of Wolverine, of X Men Origins Wolverine, in terms of its production quality, in terms of its kind of pacing. It has the presence. I'll have to do a video on the presence, but it's this kind of vague, dreamlike monotony that just I don't know. It just kind of feels like a black hole. Once again, not a horrible movie. It's just I don't know. So Deadpool, the movie stars a guy named Wade Wilson. This is kind of a sequel to Wolverine, but not really. I don't know, it's not really ever explained. Was Wolverine canon? Was Wolverine not canon? I don't know. These Marvel movies are impossible to keep track of. Nothing about him makes any sense. They've reset Iron Man's character 4 times, so every movie they throw out the character development and Tony Stark goes back to zero. Kind of like Major Tom in Guns of the Patriots. So let's see here. So Wade Wilson, who is, I guess, a former Special Forces guy. It's, I think, yeah, they reference that at some point in the movie. Even though Wolverine is disregarded in this film, I don't know. Maybe just the first half of Wolverine is canon. Who the fuck knows? So Wade Wilson is a mercenary who spends his time in New York City, and basically he seems to beat up would-be stalkers and makes a living doing this. How does he make a living beating up stalkers of teenage girls? How does that possibly pay enough? Who the fuck knows? Nothing about this movie really makes sense. And that's kind of his like mercenary job, which is the lamest mercenary job ever. Like you think mercenaries are like going to fight in Angola, or maybe like getting hired by the Kurds to go fight ISIS. But no, he beats up people who stalk teenage girls. And there's a bar called like the Home for Wayward Girls or something, which is the bar he goes. And it's there's a bartender who is exactly like Deadpool except not a superhero. Okay. So while he's at the bar, he meets a prostitute named Vanessa, and he blows his paycheck to hire her, and they go to an arcade. Um, and then he wins the Super Voltron Transformer ring, and he gives it to her for an extra 3 minutes, and then they have sex in the hallway. Um, so then after that, we get a montage of them having sex over a period of a year, and they move in together, and he proposes to her with a ring pop. So they're both kind of completely crazy, deranged people, um, who are both into really kind of adventurous and kinky sex. So I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel about this because I mean, at least they like are probably gonna get married, which is really weird. That like the two like most degenerate people in Marvel movies are actually gonna get married when no one fucking else ever gets married in films anymore. Um, so they're together, and then Wade suddenly collapses and is diagnosed with terminal cancer. Um, so he's diagnosed with terminal cancer, and then Vanessa's like, "I want to take care of you, Wade," and he's like, "No, cancer's a shit show, and I won't let you watch." So he meets up with a recruiter for Weapon X, who's like, "Wade, we can cure your cancer. We have a cure for cancer." Um, and Wade's like, "I gotta stay alive so that I can be with Vanessa." So he agrees to join Weapon X. Um, so they take him to a secret lab, which is like the cheapest looking set I've ever seen in my life. When they're at the lab, they inject him with a serum, and to make this serum work and unlock his hidden mutant abilities, they start to torture him. So they torture him, and we get an awesome montage of them torturing him to try and trigger the mutation. And we get there's this running joke that the doctor who um, is doing this to him is a mutant himself, and he wants to be called Ajax, but his actual name is Francis, and he keeps trying to get Deadpool to call him Francis, and he keeps saying "Say my name," and it's like the fucking lamest thing ever. This movie also is told through flashbacks because it's in the present. Um, Deadpool kills a bunch of guys to try and get Francis, because Deadpool is completely deformed and like just completely ugly and mutilated as a result of the mutation which has ravaged his body. Um, so they basically they torture him, and eventually he becomes a Sorry about that. It's just hard to follow this movie. Um, so they put him in an airtight chamber and they suffocate him until it activates his mutation. So it activates his mutation, which mutilates his body, and he's able to break out and burn down the lab. Francis stabs him through with a rebarb and lets the building burn, hopefully killing him. But Deadpool is effectively immortal. He can be shot any number of times and survive. He can also recover limbs that get cut off in the span of a couple hours. Um, so you may be asking yourself, if Deadpool can survive a raging inferno, being repeatedly stabbed through, being shot numerous times, and cutting his own arm off without any ill effects whatsoever, where is the tension in the movie if the main character is invincible? The answer is there's none. All the fight scenes are completely pointless. It's kind of like Wolverine. The main character is so fundamentally overpowered, it removes all tension from the movie. He's basically just invincible. Um, so after the disfigurement, he can't come to terms with the fact that he's so ugly, and he lets Vanessa basically go back to being a prostitute because he's not enough of a man to confront her. So he starts. So he moves in with an elderly blind woman. Um, why does he move in with her? I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. We get to watch him jerking off to a My Little Pony doll. That's good. And this movie has like a billion dick jokes, a billion jerking off jokes, just a billion like S&M, just kind of disgusting, degenerate humor. It's not even funny. It's just this film is like, laugh at us. We're talking about dicks. Woohoo! It's kind of reminds me of some sort of oh, who's that guy? That guy who makes all the shitty comedies. Judd Apatow movie. It kind of reminds me a bit of Funny People. They just kind of constantly make dick jokes because they think it'll get a laugh. And they just constantly kind of make pop cultural references and memes and break the fourth wall. I mean, not all of it's like that unfunny. It's just a lot of it's just kind of like just try hard. So Deadpool becomes a masked vigilante. Wade Wilson becomes a masked vigilante named Deadpool because the bar where he used to go has a Deadpool. And he's like, that's a good name. He was initially going to be Captain Deadpool, but then he just became Deadpool. They missed an opportunity for a good joke there. Deadpool, one word, like Madonna. If anyone knows where that reference is from, and who made a reference to that reference, I'll give you a cookie. Let's see here. So we get a montage of Deadpool basically killing all the people in Francis's criminal organization because Francis had mentioned that he can fix his condition and make him look normal again. So he kills them, and we get a fun montage of that, which is once again kind of disturbing. A lot of this movie is disturbing, just how many people get shot for no reason, or I guess for a minimal reason. It's just really gory and bloody. Um, I almost wonder if they shouldn't have given this movie NC-17, um, just for any number of reasons. We get back to the present where Deadpool attacks a string of cars and captures Francis. Francis feels no pain though, which means he can survive things like getting repeatedly smashed against a car and stabbed through the chest multiple times. Because he feels no pain though, he's immune to bleeding out and immune to internal organ damage. Well, that's cool. So he's trying to torture Francis when Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead show up, who want him to join the X-Men. Why are they in this movie? Who the hell knows? It's literally like some of the most randy shit I've ever seen. I have to say though, I do really like Colossus. Colossus is kind of like actually pretty conservative. He kind of is the mentor to Negasonic Teenage Warhead, who's a kind of a bratty teenager, and he keeps telling her like, "Eat your breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day." And he keeps telling Deadpool, "Don't swear in front of the children." and just stuff like that. And he has like this big speech through the end to try to get like Deadpool to uh like not kill the guy, and he just basically kind of indirectly calls Deadpool a degenerate a bunch of times. So he's kind of fun. He's kind of like a Russian version of Captain America. It's funny because when he's fighting Gina Carano, um, he like hits her, and her like shirt falls down, exposing her boobs, and he like looks away, and he's like, "Please cover yourself. I must say though, you are very beautiful." Because he's like a Russian gentleman. He's kind of from that more conservative culture. So I like that. We get a scene though on the freeway where Colossus tries to take Deadpool in because Deadpool has killed like dozens of innocent people by blowing up a highway basically and causing a massive traffic jam. So he handcuffs himself to Deadpool. Deadpool, in a reference to 48 hours or however many hours it was, saws his own arm off, which grows back later on. So, sorry about that. So Deadpool decides to go back to Vanessa after whatchamacallit, Francis figures out that Deadpool is actually Wade Wilson and decides to take Vanessa hostage and kill her to get back at Deadpool for destroying his criminal organization. Vanessa works at a strip club and has probably gone back to prostitution because Wade Wilson is no longer the main breadwinner in the family, which is really dark. Um, so they go to a decommissioned aircraft carrier, and Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Deadpool face a group of goons. Is there any tension in this scene? No. Colossus is immune to gunfire, as is Deadpool, so they basically just kill a bunch of guys. One of them is someone he previously knew, so we have a humorous scene where he just punches him out instead of killing him. So they go up onto the basically a decommissioned aircraft carrier, um, and Deadpool and Francis have a fight before Francis reveals that there is no cure to the disfiguration, so Deadpool kills him despite Colossus telling him not to. Um, so let's see here. Deadpool removes his mask and shows Vanessa his face. Though she is angry that he left her, she accepts him and they reconcile by kissing, and he refers to her as her future baby daddy. The post-credits scene, which is an homage to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Deadpool comes in dressed as a robe and tells the audience, "You're still here. It's over. Go home." He then comes back out and says the sequel will involve Cable, and warns the audience not to leave their trash in the theater. Deadpool leaves, but makes the chicka chicka noise from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So what can we say about Deadpool the movie? It's not unfunny. The action scenes aren't bad. It just feels really cheap. It feels really kind of rushed. I mean, this is the movie we've been like promised for years, and it's just kind of like meh. It's not bad. I mean, if you like Deadpool, if you like kind of X-Men, you just want to see a comic book family, it's okay. It's just there's nothing really special about it. There's nothing really great about it. It's completely undeserving of the extremely positive reviews it's getting. It's not a great movie. I'm just kind of struggling to say anything about it. It just kind of relies on a lot of jokes, some of which are funny, most of which are kind of degenerate, and some kind of mixed bag action scenes. Um, so yeah, I don't know if I could really recommend the movie or disrecommend the movie. All I can say is it's really kind of a mixed bag of a film. Um, if you're kind of easily triggered by degeneracy, I would recommend not seeing it. If you're really, I don't know. I don't really know what to say, to be honest about it. It's really just kind of the last gasp of a dying culture that's desperately trying to get a laugh out of people, while showing it really doesn't have much in the way of creativity anymore. So I hope the review was okay. I'm sorry, I don't have a ton to say about the movie. Um, I guess I'll see you next reactionary review. Ciao.